And welcome to today's Altcoin Bible clips. If you want to watch the full version of this session where I talk about macro, where I look at Bitcoin and where I think things are going and the whipsaw that we're seeing right now, make sure to become a newsletter subscriber or clicking the link below. Apart from that, stay tuned. We're going to cover my cherry ripe, one to watch, and danger zone. Rightio, BNB is my cherry ripe. You just can't ignore performance. It has been stronger than Bitcoin, stronger than most assets out on the market, and it is still in this really nice high-low uptrend. Where we are at the moment is actually an area where you want to get really interested, where it's coming back to this peak where I've got those two circles lined up here, and it's coming into that trend line support and the 50-day moving average. So I would expect this trend to be your friend until the end and to adhere to it, and buyers to come in quite strong here. If this gets violated and we get a run down here, I'd be watching for a run back into resistance before you really get out of major positions. But this is where you'd look for opportunities. You don't get out of your positions here when we're coming back to a nice uptrend support level. Apart from that, if you're looking here, I'd be really taking off some risk about 115. That's pretty soon, so shorter term traders will look there. Then you can maybe hold to 1282, so that key 1.6 Fibonacci. You can see we've tagged it twice and failed twice. So do we get back there? That is the question. Or is BNB starting to weaken? If it drops through here, then it's going to the 50, and then it's going to the, 50. That is the 100. Then we're going down to this volume block here, and that should hold things up for a while. RSI still looks fine on the 50 Stokes bottom. So there's a lot here pointing towards more upside on BNB. So I like this chart a lot. All right, Pengu, this is a chart that there's a few that look like this, and I wanted to bring up Pengu because it's fairly popular. Pengu's price action up all the way to the, was it an all-time high it made? Well, let's just say it went from the low there to the high. It's about 454%. Party's over, so now a bit of a hangover. We've come all the way back to the 200-day moving average. We've hit it once, we've gone beneath it another time, closed back above, and then down again. So what I just want to illustrate here is high, lower high, lower high each time, rejected off that 10, and it's getting weaker and weaker each time. I hate seeing a close beneath the 200-day moving average like we've seen. So it has to recover that pretty quick. Otherwise, I would say there's probably a 60 to 80% probability here that it's coming down to that 0.02, 0.019, maybe even 18, somewhere in that zone. Then I'd expect this level to be pretty strong down here at 178, 179. So that's where I see Pengu as a danger zone. That's what I look for in charts where I think, okay, this is the danger zone. What am I looking for? Well, it's a close through a key level. For Pengu to be bullish again, I actually really want it to be back above here. I need to see this trend change. You could see a trend change here where it's flipping that's starting the first higher high in a new sequence. That's great. Then that level there, but ultimately it's above this volume. You really want to sort of say goodbye to all this chop and crap underneath here, and then wait for those higher levels, which again, you're paying a premium to buy at those kind of regions, but you're buying into a much stronger trend there for mine. But you can muck around in here if you so choose as well. My one to watch today is Tau. It's been on my radar for a week or so now because it is one of the very few charts showing relative strength against Bitcoin. So meaning the chart has looked really, really strong while Bitcoin has been weak or volatile, while the rest of the altcoin market has looked pretty crap as well. And the Bitcoin pair chart, so Tau BTC and Tau USD, look very, very similar. So it's a very easy chart to monitor. Now we see this longer term multi-year downtrend, so high, lower high, lower high, lower high, but then we've busted out of it. So this is kind of a moment to pay attention. It's not a moment to just go, okay, let's go all in. You're watching this for a pullback. Generally the first bust out of these downtrends is a fake out. We had the full rollback to these lower levels, 342 from, was it 477? That was absolutely brutal. And then we've rolled back up to 416, and now we're back to 373. So the volatility here is really extreme. But all I'm looking for in my one to watch is for this downtrend line here, that white line, to hold just through there. I want to see that hold because this would be a back test, and then we want to see a rejection here at the 200 and a bounce like that. And then we go higher. So ultimately what I want to see is the downtrend be violated. So that's being done. That's tick one. Tick two is I need to see a horizontal get taken. So you see the peaks here, the peak there. I want to see this get changed there. Then we've got a higher high from this peak to that peak. We've also got higher lows. So we're trying to create a new uptrend, and we should skip away to the moon. So that's where, like here is where I get really interested in buying, but I'm also very conscious of just waiting for daily closes and ultimately weekly closing back above that downtrend, that trend line. I need to see it closing above. You can buy as it's falling, but there is risk to that. It could keep falling and close beneath, and then the trend keeps going lower. So just be careful there. All right, guys, have a great day. Thanks for watching, and we'll chat again soon. Bye.